Any music on the show this week?
We did, starting with a little jazz. Happy Friday, everyone. Welcome to another episode of SoFLo Sports Show, episode 85. Like, every time I do an episode, I feel like we're getting closer and closer to 100.
Yeah.
But then it feels like it's taken forever. So, 85, 15 more.
Yeah.
And I think we're projected to do it before baseball season.
We should get there, absolutely.
We should.
And 85, for Dolphins reference, 85 was unfortunately the last time the Dolphins were in a Super Bowl. That'd be 1985 against the 49ers. And also the great Mark Duper wore number 85, as did great all-time great Hall of Fame linebacker Nick Montacani wore number 85. So 85, special show.
Yeah. So, guys, thanks for joining us on Friday. Dolphins, we are winning games. Kind of.
Won a game.
I know. Obviously, we didn't go. Dolphins went to SoFly last Monday, the Monday night game, where we got another win in SoFi. I said another win because last year we opened up the season at SoFi against the Chargers. So all is well on the West Coast for our Dolphins. Not really West Coast because obviously we didn't win in Seattle, but
SoFi. You could just say SoFi. We're undefeated in SoFi. So, well, no, I'm take that back. We lost to the Chargers 2 years ago on a Sunday night game. But, last 2 years we've done pretty well in SoFi. Beat the Chargers last year, as you mentioned, and the Rams this past Monday night. So things are looking up. Finally got out of broke the 3-game losing streak, and we're able to get a win, a deserved win with Tua back at quarterback. He lost his first 2 attempts to the Cardinals and to the and Buffalo. He lost at Buffalo and to the Cardinals.
But a good showdown on Buffalo.
Both were good games.
Yeah.
The Buffalo game was won on a 61 freaking yard field goal, and then the Cardinals did the same thing. They won on the field goal at the end. So very close games, and finally, and like I said, deservingly so, the Dolphins were able to break through and get on the win, and winnable games ahead. I'll just say that. I don't want to jump ahead of it because at this point, every game means something, but they have a favorable, winnable window of games coming up.
Yeah, no, definitely. We play, obviously, the Raiders this week, and then we play the Patriots. And we go to Green Bay to play the Packers on Thanksgiving Day. We have the 8:20 game. Then our arch nemesis, the Jets, come down here, which is always a good matchup. You see what they have left in the tank, which is nothing, but it's always good to see that. And 49ers come here. We go up to Cleveland. Then we go up to New York.
Let's take
you say
one game. Yeah, but one game at a time. One game at a time, and we'll get into the path that I see and you see for the Dolphins to, piggyback off this win and make some kind of a run, which they're going to need desperately in order to have a chance at the playoffs. But we'll get into that in a second. But let's recap the game a little bit. Dolphins, as mentioned, beat the Rams on Monday Night Football, finally get that elusive win that's been taking them over a month to get, especially since Tua came back under center.
Start off strong.
Scored right on the first
Can't
drive.
say last time that happened to us.
Yep, that's true.
Shocking.
Moved the ball downfield precisely and ended it up on a running play to our rookie wide receiver, Malik Washington. So that was a nice little quirk in the playbook there, and we're able to get on the board first. They went up with a field goal after that. They were up 10-0. The Rams got a couple field goals to make it 10-6 at the half, and that's all they got the rest of the game as well. They could not score. Credit to the Dolphins defense, 4 sacks on Matthew Stafford. They had a fumble. They had an interception. So the Dolphins defense really stepped up and sealed that victory. And you got to give them all kinds of credit. Javon Holland even got a sack on a blitz. And how about the rookie, Chop Robinson? He got a big sack, and he's been coming on as late here. So, and he's obviously needed to step up with Jalen Phillips being hurt. Bradley Chubb nowhere near return as far as anybody knows. So credit Chop Robinson for finally coming around and looking good out there.
Yeah, and another one that, I have a love-hate relationship with, and I've been saying this for a while, is Sanders. He's starting to, finally get the groove.
3 for 3 on Monday night. He hit all his attempts, hit the extra point, so you gotta love that. I'm
not a hater, but I'm not a big believer, so he's slowly making me turn a page. So let's see. But, with being a kicker, you have one job.
Yeah.
One job is to
split the uprights, make it through there.
And so you obviously want him to be perfect, and there hasn't always been, but he's also human at the end of the day. So I've been pretty okay with his performance lately because it's been excellent. So
yeah, we saw the replay as well the other night, but we caught the first half on the radio. We were in Orlando visiting your family, and I'll get more into it at the end of the show, but we were planning on joining the Dolphins Orlando fan club at the Hideaway. Hideaway, if you've never been, tremendous bar in the Orlando area, big Dolphin bar. And they last week before this Rams game was their last game at the old location, and now they moved over to the new location, which is right across the street. We
Literally.
passed by it.
Yeah.
Again, I'll get more into it at the end of the show why we couldn't make it out there, but we definitely want to be there in the future to see a game. So that would be awesome. But we saw the replay. A couple of things that we liked and we didn't like. The running game, non-existent, right? We could not run the ball against the Rams, which is a little concerning. The Rams have a good defense, by the way. But, we have really good running backs, and we'd love to put that ball.
I think the best in the league, but I'm a little biased. I just love Mostert.
I'm not going to disagree with you.
I
You
know.
love Mostert. You obviously, Achane is doing it on the ground and catching balls too and scoring touchdowns through the air. And then you got Jalen Wright, the rookie, who's coming on, as of late and doing his job. So the Dolphins' running game was unfortunately not as prominent as they were in previous weeks. But hey, it resulted in a win. That's all you could ask for.
Yeah. So the Raiders coming down this week.
And one last thing I wanted to mention. One thing I didn't like was Tua threw an interception. Okay, that's allowed. It's accepted. And then he made the tackle on the defender. I don't want to see Tua doing anything that has to.
And he tackled terribly too. He went in with his shoulders. At least trip the guy or do something. At least use your body as like a hill. He went in for a straight.
Bump him with the body, hit him with your butt. Trip him up, whatever you got to do. But
he went in like a super
tripping would be illegal, so it would result in a penalty.
I'd rather it be illegal than lose your head.
No doubt. I'd rather him, do some illegal act to get the defender down, or in this case, the defender player.
It was a defender.
Intercepted the ball. But you don't want to see Tua tackling people. I don't want to see Tua diving. I don't want to see Tua. I want to see him sliding, getting rid of that ball. So he's got to learn how to be smarter. I give the kid credit. He knowing everything that's happened to him and how many people have told him, I'm sure family members as well, to retire. And here's a kid, he just loves the game so much and is so passionate about it. He made a mistake and he tried to, do right by it. I'll say this, Dan Marino never tried to tackle anybody when he threw a pick. Marino would do an Olay move like a matador. He threw a pick, even if the guy was
now.
Marino, he does that to fans now, where he's like, "Hey, I don't want to really
so that continued on into his
exactly. So give Tua credit, man. He went out there and he tried. He got him out of bounds. He tackled the player after his pick, but he shouldn't. We don't want you to do that anymore. Stop it.
No, definitely. There's a time and place for that, and that's doing that with your kids, not when we need you.
No doubt.
But no, the more, obviously a lot of people were like, he should retire. But me as a former athlete myself, I get it. The love for the game. There's still times where I have vivid dreams that I am still playing basketball, and I replay like the whole games and everything, and it never leaves you. And obviously, I never got to pro or anywhere near that level, but it's hard. It would be such a hard decision for anybody to have that much love and walk away. So game by game, and we're here for it, and it hasn't been bad. The return, it could have went either way, and it's going decent. It's going good. We're seeing,
He had the very ominous quote too, where he said, "Oh, I love football to the death of me," and obviously that's not words that we want to mix with Tua's press conferences, but he's pretty much wearing his emotions out on his sleeve and saying, "I love this game, and I don't want to take it away from me, so I'm going to keep on playing." And look. It's been night and day. I know the record is 1-2, but it's night and day from seeing an offense run by Tyler Huntley, Skylar Thompson, or the dreaded Tim Boyle to what Tua's doing. So give him all the credit. This is much needed, and hopefully we can string together a couple wins here and get back into this thing.
That would be cool. No, that would be great. So obviously the Raiders come to town this week, Sunday 1:00. What was your basketball number? So basketball, I went number 11. I started with number 24 when I was center, and when I got to high school, they told me I was too short to be center because 5'7" was cool when I was 10, but then when I was 13, it was too short, and then I transitioned to number 11, which is still a lucky number.
But I think you also have to tell the room that some of your influences, that you were a big Jason Kidd fan, you loved Dikembe Mutombo, the late, great Dikembe Mutombo, Jason Kidd you mentioned, so you liked a little bit, you could put a little point forward.
Yeah, no, that was my
team. Point center.
I know, that was my team. And then when we go places, especially when we go to New York, they have a lot of New Jersey Nets old school stuff. And I'm so tempted to buy it. And you're always like, no, babe, can't do it. But, it's always a special place in my heart. But
I like the old Nets. I really don't like this. The one now is so boring, black and white. And
I agree with the
I know it's a
Brooklyn.
whole Brooklyn thing now, but it just doesn't look good.
You don't
Black,
gotta
white,
tell me, you don't gotta sell me on it. It's
It
not
doesn't
a
look
sell for
good.
me.
And the old Nets jersey that they went to the finals with Kerry Kittles and Kidd and
RJ.
Keith Van Horn, or how could I forget Richard Jefferson, great Arizona Wildcat.
Byron Scott.
But
I love them.
I'll go one before that, and maybe you're not used to this one, but the one that Kenny Anderson and Derek Coleman wore, it was kind of like a baby blue with the Nets in red. That was my favorite.
I know of it, but a little before my love for it.
Yeah, they wear every now and then on throwback nights.
So let's bring it back out of the 90s.
Yeah.
This Sunday, we play the Raiders, Las Vegas Raiders. First of all, the fan base travels well.
They do.
They obviously traveled well when they left California. They're still diehard fans. It wasn't like jump ship. They're still very hardcore Raiders fans. They will take over the yellow lot. That's one thing. I don't know if you remember Gorilla.
I remember.
They take out the lot. They take over the lot that we park at. They do an amazing tailgate. Remember?
They do, and they were cool. They were all
They're
cool.
awesome people.
They're very intimidating because their uniforms aren't the black and silver, the silver and black, and they wear the pirate patch and. They're a very intimidating group of guys, but sweethearts. We had no issues with them.
No, and we say that now. Watch your problems this week, so behave and stuff.
The black hole, they're known as. They travel, man. They really travel. They're hardcore fans.
Definitely, Sheldon. Hello. My
Sheldon.
grandma also wants to add. I played baseball too. I apologize. I also played, but you know that.
You never told me that.
I played baseball, then I transitioned to softball. I played baseball.
Oh, wow.
Until they made me play softball. That's
nice.
a whole other story. Okay, so this Sunday, obviously the Raiders come to town. Our beloved, and I mean this wholeheartedly, beloved Christian Wilkins, because I don't think anybody as a Dolphins fan was happy to see that happen for him to go. Comes back home.
Yeah, look, at the end of the day, and we talked about this on previous shows, and you guys could chime in the room.
Yeah.
I thought it was the right call, right? I mean, look, Christian Wilkins, fan favorite, right? He's a comical guy.
Mic him up, it's great.
He celebrates touchdowns. He celebrates his guys. Right, he's a team player, the ultimate team professional, consummate professional. He didn't hold out last year. He pretty much said, "Hey, I'm going to be here whether I get paid or not."
Salt and pepper.
He missed a day. He protested a day, but he didn't hold out for long term. So he's an awesome overall guy. But I thought it was a little bit too much money to get to that position. And as it turns out, I think I and a lot of people that felt that way were correct. This year he's got 11 tackles, 11 solo tackles, and 2 sacks. Those are good numbers. Those are not numbers that you would pay somebody that amount of money that the Raiders paid him. And now the Raiders are kind of tapped out, if you will, because they paid him so much money. And for the production that you're going to get at that position, I just don't think it was smart. And so I'm glad we didn't sign him. But that being said, I'm with you. I love the guy. He was awesome.
He steals towels.
He steals towels.
Yeah.
So 94 was a really great guy down here.
He's going to come back. He's going to get a great ovation. There's no hard feelings to it, right? It's a business. At the end of the day, he's a great guy. It's a business. And I go into this, especially now, we have a shot at the playoffs, right? If we were not to win last week, we'd be speaking differently right now. So the playoffs, you could see the window. But as you mentioned kind of before, every game is winnable. And on top of that, it's a must win. So the Raiders are one of those teams, right, that we have as like a winnable game where, it has to be like that.
There's no excuse. There's games on the schedule, and there's a lot of them that are favorable that you got to win. We'll get more into that, but let's go with the Dolphins-Raiders matchups.
Okay.
All-time history, the Raiders lead the series 21-20, and then there was one tie. Yeah. They've also been in the playoffs 4 times, a bunch of different scenarios there. They've been in the infamous, I'm going to say it again, the Sea of Hands game. That took place in Oakland. That game is possibly, before my time, obviously before your time, but any Dolphin fan who's a diehard fan knows it. The Sea of Hands game in Oakland, the Dolphins were trying to three-peat to this date. And even though Kansas City right now looks like they may be the candidate to do it, but no one in the NFL has three-peated, won 3 Super Bowls in a row. The Dolphins had a chance. They went to Oakland in the second round of the playoffs, and they lost a very difficult defeat. So, yeah, a lot of history between these 2 teams, and it's now being played in a third city for them, for the Raiders. They started in Oakland, went down to Los Angeles, and now obviously ended up in Las Vegas. So a lot of history between these 2 teams in multiple different cities. The Raiders are coming in at 2-7. Dolphins are 3-6. As far as players to watch on the Raiders side, we mentioned
Crosby.
We mentioned Wilkins and Max Crosby again having
a beast.
Monster year, 6.5 sacks so far.
Good,
we're not even halfway through for them, or actually they are halfway
through.
And
the problem with that is that you mentioned the sacks, and Teron Armstead is questionable this week too.
Oh,
so that's even more concerning. Is that our left tackle, who is Tua's guardian angel, is questionable, but he's been like this the last 2 years, which is kind of you know how I feel like injury players and stuff. But when you go up against a guy like Max Crosby, who has like hound dog teeth ready to attack Tua with every, that's a problem.
Yeah, it's a big problem. And losing, we lost Austin Jackson. He didn't play against the Rams. Now we know that it's season ending. So that's a tough loss. Another guy you're gonna have to pick up. The guy who's gonna have to step up is Patrick Paul, the rookie drafted out of Houston, who's held his own so far, and he's gonna have to be thrown in there and baptism by fire, because he's going to have to play some big minutes here, a lot of crucial snaps that he's going to have to be out there, next man up mentality. You mentioned Wilkins, you mentioned Crosby, and then it was announced this week that Gardner Minshew is going to be the quarterback. Kind of a journey guy. He hasn't had a good year. He's been benched a couple of times already, so he's a guy that can give the football away. Dolphins defense coming off a spectacular performance on Monday night against the Rams. Hopefully they could piggyback on that and really make it hell for Minshew out there, because he's a guy that, again, it's been known to give the football up, kind of plays by the seat of his pants and doesn't really, draw it up in the sand and go. And so hopefully that leads to a lot of sacks and some turnovers for the Dolphins.
And we know for sure Kendall Fuller's out. There's other ones that
hurts too.
There's other ones that are questionable.
Kader Kohu went down on Monday night, came back, and he was banged up.
We are banged up, but that one for sure we know. But I think everyone else pretty much is going to be balls to the wall, and we'll see what happens. So, score prediction, what are you thinking?
Well, I want to mention one more Raider player who a lot of people thought we should have gotten, even though Jonnu Smith has come up big for us now. But Brock Bowers out of Georgia has come on like gangbusters. He's been great, the rookie tight end for the Raiders. He's been awesome. A big target, can catch the ball, can run the ball, can, thwart people out of the way to get extra yards. So that's a guy to watch for. And the Dolphins have had issues covering tight ends. So I'm interested to see how our linebackers are able to contain him. Of course, they lost Devontae Adams, who got traded to the Jets. So that's their big target right now.
And with his BFF, how's that going?
Well, it's not. Well, they won last week, but no, sorry, they lost, right?
They lost
to the Cardinals. Yeah,
because
they won the week before.
Remember, we were watching it live on the phone.
We were. That's right. Felt like 2 weeks ago.
No.
But look, Brock Bowers is pretty much their number one target at this point, and again, I'm interested to see how the Dolphins defense could contain him.
No, definitely. So, score prediction for this week? What do you think?
Yeah, it's a 7-point game. 7-point line is what Vegas has set. In Vegas, but I think. Look, this is a game Dolphins have to have. It was a must-win last Monday just to get the ball rolling on consecutive wins and giving us a chance at having a chance at the playoffs later on in the year. You got a Raider team that's
radar. It's so weird.
You got a Raider team that's
you're hungry.
Really not that good, and again playing a quarterback that's not that good, that really has lost the locker room, has been replaced already several times, as I mentioned. We got to get after him. We got to start clicking on offense. I feel that even though we couldn't run the ball on Monday night, I think we'll be able to have success running the ball on Sunday against the Raiders. 1 o'clock, the Dolphins are already going to make them wear their black jerseys.
It's not going to be as hot as you think. We're going to wake up tomorrow. We live in Miami Beach. It's going to be 65 degrees. Right. But it's still going to. But to your point, it's still going to be 80 degrees at the same time.
I know this. They're going to be wearing their black jerseys. The sun's going to be out 1 o'clock, and they're going to be feeling the effects. And I feel the Dolphins are going to have a breakthrough game here. We got 3 wins, none of them pretty. Let's be real. Monday night wasn't pretty. No. The win against the Patriots wasn't pretty, and the win against the Jaguars on opening day wasn't a pretty game. I feel that I'm not going to predict
what is the number?
I'm not going to predict what we did against Denver last year and put up 70 points.
I just had that in my mind too, that game.
But I'm saying this is going to be a blowout game. I think the Dolphins are going to put it on the Raiders, and I'm going to go ahead and say 41-20.
Dude,
41-20.
I'm so on the opposite tangent of
41-20 Dolphins.
All right, guys,
What do
write
you
in the chat what you think because I am not where he is with that 41.
We're going to
score.
put it on them. We're going to put it on them. 41-20. Book it.
All right, Ash's prediction.
Go ahead. What you got?
A. Dominguez here is 17-10 Dolphins.
17-10. Oh,
dude, you don't.
I don't like
Matt
that
Crosby's gonna be hungry like an alligator. You're gonna hold him. Tron Armstead's not healthy, even if he plays. You know the run game's gonna have to come alive. Is Tua gonna have enough?
It's going to come alive.
Is Tua gonna have enough time to shoot bombs down the field?
Crosby is not going to get a chance to get to Tua because Tua's going to be getting rid of that ball quick. And
all right, look, we got more reality checks from
hey,
here.
Come on, give it to me. What we got?
West Coast of Florida, 28-23 Dolphins. Miss Vince in the house dropping 25-13 Dolphins.
Run it up.
Sheldon.
There you go.
Our brother Sheldon.
That's what I'm talking about.
Sheldon, man. Sheldon's Team Lou. No, I'm more realistic.
Sheldon and I see it the right way.
Man. No, it's not going to be that high scoring.
41-20. I don't even know about
okay. Brent got one for you. 34-10 with 3 turnovers.
I would love that.
Brent, I thought you meant 3 turnovers. Is that happened 34-10 Dolphins with Dolphins even 3 turnovers?
Yes, of course that's what he means.
Okay,
absolutely.
I wouldn't be surprised though.
Absolutely.
So you have some people. It's split. This okay. Right now it's honestly split because you have people who are more realistic like me, and we have people you who are drinking the Kool-Aid and are like it's gonna happen.
I'm drinking.
Either way, we are. Okay, wait. We have another score prediction. Josephine Evie hails from Daytona Beach, Florida, Volusia County.
24-17. Come on, Joe. It's a little too close for comfort. I need a blowout.
No,
I need a blowout.
She's feeling 24-17.
41-20 Fins. Book it.
I don't know.
It. Lay that 7 with confidence, baby.
All right, so tonight...
Don't bet your house on it, though. But lay that 7 with confidence. As much confidence as you have.
So tonight is Friday night, and, you know, obviously you have Dateline on. You have 2020 Shark Tank.
Yeah.
But
we got something else.
Everybody tonight is... if you have Netflix, that is, or if you're streaming. Everyone's watching the fight tonight. The big fight tonight. Mike Tyson, the OG from New York, fighting this punk.
Catskills, New York.
No, he's not.
The Catskills. He's from the Catskills. Yeah.
Brooklyn.
Yeah, outside the Brooklyn Catskills. That's where it's from.
Brooklyn. Mike Tyson is fighting Jake Paul tonight at AT&T Jerry World Stadium. Okay. Right? This fight was actually supposed to happen months ago. No, in July.
Oh, July. Okay.
It was supposed to happen in July, but Mike Tyson actually got sick. He got sick on his flight going from Miami to LA. He had an issue with his ulcers in his stomach where they really bottled up, and his doctors advised him, hey, listen, like, you got to lay low from this fighting. Anything with the stomach's no good. So, and obviously Jake Paul took that like, oh, he's scared to fight me, because that's what punks do. Yeah. So Punk McGee here was, So the fight is tonight. It's a whole match, right? So there's 8 different bouts, and obviously the main bout is the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight. The bout they start at 8:00 tonight, live on Netflix. So give or take how the other matchups do. I'm thinking
about 10 o'clock, 10:30.
10:30 is kind of where I'm at with that. Now, what's interesting? There's a lot of things that are interesting about this matchup, right?
Give us a tail of the tape. What do you got?
Mike Tyson is 58 years old.
58 years old.
58, looking like a G. Still got it. Whatever. Obviously,
I ain't fighting him.
Right? No one's fighting him. Mike Tyson has this whole long list of wins and also a long list of laundry. Jake, and from New York. And then Jake Paul is 27 years old. He's old. Mike Tyson's old enough to be his dad, which, whatever. Just stating facts. Comes from Cleveland, Ohio. And it's just a yapper. So when they had their weigh-in or matchup, you heard about the slap heard around the world.
I did.
And so, yeah, tonight's the fight, right? I think the majority of us, this is not like a political campaign where it's split. I think the majority of us want to see Mike Tyson whoop this kid's butt. This kid's a yapper. We're tired of seeing him on social media. Mike Tyson, let these youngins know what it is. Win. And we're going to be watching it tonight.
Yeah, same thing. Before your time, but I was a little kid when Tyson came on the scene. And it was must watch, in this case, pay-per-view, because you had to pay for these fights back in the day. I guess you kind of do it now too, but you stream it nowadays. But back then you had to go and get a satellite, whatever. And Mike Tyson cannot miss viewing. I mean, the guy was knocking people out in the first round like nobody's business. And he was just a gutsy guy, very bravado, very tough. He was a very likable guy back then, and he's a likable guy now. He did the cameo in the Hangover movie. So I think a lot of people are fond of that Mike Tyson. I think a lot of people are not fond of Jake Paul. As you mentioned, he's like a little punk.
Maybe like that younger generation like him because they're like, oh, this guy's.
I think he's just a douchebag.
He's just annoying.
Not a fan at all. I hope Tyson puts him on the floor. It's going to be tough.
So does everybody else in the chat.
Tyson's 58 years old, so but hey. For a long time, people would, ask this question, obviously as a joke, but say, "Hey, would you take $2 million to get punched by Mike Tyson?" And rarely did anybody say, "Yeah, I'll take the $2 million because you could be dead."
And that's what they're saying in the chats too. Miss Finn wants the KO. She even said here, she goes, "Mike might murder this man, but we know it's gonna be Paul winning by decision." Which I could see it. Also, Brent says Tyson can take your ear too.
He can. He did it to Holyfield. He could definitely do that. I'll give you a funny Mike Tyson story. So I'm a little kid at this point. I'm maybe 7 or 8 around there. We're at a party in Coconut Grove, a birthday party, and we're in the lobby area. And that hotel is weird. It's like got rooms on the first floor and then a lobby. It's like behind the closed door where you check in. So bottom line is myself and my friends were going around to all the ballrooms, whatever, opening door and saying, "Hey, idiot," whatever, just stupid stuff kids do, right? We ended up getting to this room where I guess they moved the concierge area because this is why they had a special guest that they didn't want him to register and check into his hotel amongst the people. So when we opened the door, it was my turn, and I'm, "Hey, idiots, you're all fools," or whatever. Sure enough, a man grabs my shoulder and says, "Hey, what are you doing, buddy? You can't be saying that kind of thing to you." Mike Tyson was the guy that I opened the door and I yell this at, and he comes out, grabs me and teaching me a lesson. Exactly how Mike Tyson
should have KO'd you and taught you a
lesson. The funniest thing of all time. And so sure enough, I went back and said, guys, Mike Tyson's here. Everybody went over there. He couldn't have been the nicest guy. He was also, because it happened to have been a Hispanic party, was also very fond of some of the single moms that were there, if I could say. And so he said, "Oh, are the senoritas going to be there? Senoritas? A lot of senoritas at the party." So he never made it out to the party, but he was very intrigued by the senoritas at the party. So
probably Mike not Tyson. Even just a single one, probably any of them.
Probably
he's probably looking at your mom.
Yeah, but it was pretty funny. Mike Tyson, that was my funny Mike Tyson story.
That's so crazy.
Yeah. Exactly.
So the fight will be starting soon. My grandma's is going to be on TV. No, it's not. So for this, you need Netflix. I can give you my login if you need it, but it is on Netflix.
Yeah, we'll hook you up. And I'm sure they'll put it on TV later on.
I'm sure it'll be replayed or just on Facebook and everything. So that's going on tonight. Also tonight, our Miami Heat are taking on the Indiana Pacers. Tyrese Halliburton. We were there last month. We actually walked right through not right through the arena, but it's a cool arena. It's right in their downtown area. The lights around it are awesome. We did not see a game.
Really cool arena.
NBA season was not live and well then.
We'll have to go back for that. You know what I missed too? I was looking at, because I knew that Elvis, I'm a huge Elvis Presley fan. Elvis Presley actually, and I knew this, he played his last concert in Indianapolis before he passed away at the old Market Square Arena. That was the home of the Pacers back then. Yeah. And they have a commemorative plaque and a time capsule. They put a commemorative plaque up, and then they buried a time capsule where they're going to unearth it on Elvis's, what should be his 100th year birthday.
Wow.
And they're going to unearth all these things from that concert, which turned out to be his last one. So we missed that, and we're going to have to go back and see a Pacers game and that as well.
Sandy's in the chat. Sandy was actually a part of the SoCal events going on last week, and I have to give her a shout out because her dog Shula, which is an amazing, beautiful dog that she has, took a picture with Jalen Phillips.
Oh, wow.
And Jalen Phillips, very nice-looking guy, as we know.
Yeah.
Holden Shula, and they're both just the happiest people. So it belongs on a Christmas card. So, Sandy, we are all jealous of you, and especially Shula, because Jalen Phillips held Shula, and we all wish Jalen Phillips would just hold us. So, definitely. Okay, so Miami.
Miss Finn says that, yes, Miss Finn, I did meet Mike Tyson, and he did. He grabbed my shoulder, and he talked in his typical Mike Tyson voice. That was awesome. That alone was worth the price of admission for me.
So he played tonight. Not looking too good. And I've had a few people come and ask me, Ash, how are he doing? Are you worried? I'm not. It's so early. It is such. People say baseball season is long, which it is. Basketball season is very, very, very long, especially if you're a Heat fan, where we tend to make the playoffs. It's even longer. So I'm not that emoji right now where I'm the dog and there's burning fire on me. I'm good right now. I'm okay. Obviously we've gone to a few games. I've seen issues and I've seen them bounce back from issues and stuff. But you can't fall too far behind either on the team.
No doubt. And you already have some teams that were projected to be higher up.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the Sixers, who've had no Joel Embiid and no Paul George. And the Milwaukee Bucks are off to a horrible start, too. So the Heat should have had a chance to, be ahead of these teams, but they're not. They're 4-6. They're off to a bad start. They really haven't beaten any good teams. And then the ultimate gut punch so far this season was this last Tuesday. We were trailing against the Pistons, who are not a good basketball team, very young team, up and coming, but they're not there yet. And we were trailing against them the whole game, made a valiant comeback, took the lead, and then with 1.8 seconds left, they draw up an out-of-bounds play, catch the Heat sleeping, and they, throw a lob towards the basket. It goes down for a dunk over Bam. They had nobody in the, underneath the basket to protect the rim, and they tied the game. Worst of all, after they tie the game with 1.8 seconds left, Heat coach and all-time NBA great, legend,
our
two-time winning
best of the best,
two-time winning championship finals coach. He calls timeout.
He's allowed to make mistakes,
but
sometimes.
Unfortunately, the Heat had no timeouts. So that, of course, is a technical foul. The Pistons, made 2 free throws and won the game. And Coach Spoelstra in the press conference was beside himself. He was so dejected, so embarrassed that he, gave that game away, essentially. Yeah. And it's a shame. It also neglected a tremendous performance by Tyler Hero, who's really been the only bright spot for the Miami Heat. Tyler Hero had 40 points in the game. His career high was 41, so he would have broken that in overtime. Yeah. And he had 10 3-pointers in a game that also tied a Heat record. Brian Shaw, Duncan Robinson, and Mario Chalmers are the only other Heat players that have had 10 3-pointers in a game. Surely, with an extra 5 minutes in overtime, he would have had a chance to break that record as well. So, but again, it's not about records. It's about winning basketball games. And unfortunately, Spo gave one away there.
I'm not hurt about it. That's one mistake that he rarely made.
He's allowed.
I don't know if we mentioned on the last show, the last Heat game that we went to, it was BAM Appreciation Night, where obviously you guys know, or maybe you don't know, BAM plays on the USA Men's Olympics basketball team. And so with them winning silver.
Yeah. No, they won gold. Gold. Yeah, what are you talking about?
I don't know why I said that.
His teammate, Nikola Jovic, won the bronze.
That's what it was.
Correct.
Yeah.
But no, they beat France in the gold medal game, and they were gold medal. Yeah, so the Heat have done this 4 other times for LeBron, for D. Wade, and I'm missing one. Not Zoe. There's one more up there. I'm slipping my mind right now. But bottom line is, no, I think it's Bam. It's Bam. Bam had won this previously.
Yeah,
but they only do that if you won a gold medal. You're not going to do it. You're not going to hang a second place.
They mentioned Nikola, and then we clapped, obviously, because we love him, not so much his country, but we love that's what it was.
No, but Bam won the gold medal.
So they dropped it from the rafters. So that's our second time seeing things drop from the rafters in the last 2 months.
That was awesome.
From the Panthers. And his mom was there. He's a big mama's boy. She loves him.
His mom was wearing his original gold medal. So that was pretty cool to see.
So we saw that. And switching gears to hockey, the Florida Panthers. We're doing pretty well, but then the New Jersey Devils, which happened. And they lost 2 games against the Devils.
Yep, back-to-back games to the Devils at home.
It's crazy that they're still called the Devils, and I'm not.
No, come on.
No, I'm not biased because obviously that was my favorite team growing up. But I'm surprised that they still allow it. Which I'm all about it though. That's my favorite team growing up. But you see the.
Listen, I don't want to get political here, and I won't, but. You got to leave this stuff out of sports. The Cleveland Guardians just released new uniforms for this year, and nobody was seeing the new uniforms. All they were saying was, bring back the Indians.
Yeah.
It's like, this is not, nobody's trying to offend anybody. It's a sporting team's name. In the Indians case, they used to have a drum set out in center field, and they would bang the drum. They were supporting the traditions of the Native Americans. They're not get it out of your head to say, oh, no, they're doing this to mock them. No, they're not. Yeah. I mean, people need to stop with that nonsense.
And then, with the New Jersey Devils, the thing is, my home state, the Jersey Devils are a real thing.
Yeah. So you told me about it. I didn't know about that, but it's true.
So when we go back there, I'll take you, Sam. So yeah, Panthers, not the dog with the fire behind. Everything's cool. 2 losses against Jersey.
They had won 7 in a row previous to that.
They play the Jets tonight, the Winnipeg Jets.
Yeah. They have won 7 in a row
Everything's
previous to
good.
that. They're
Everything's
11-5. They're still in first place in the Atlantic
Everything's
Division. Remember, they had Barkov miss 3 weeks,
Yep.
and he's back now. So, they know what they're doing.
Yep.
They're in first place, and they're playing
Fine.
overall good
Everything's
hockey. So that's not an issue.
All is well.
Now, a team that's
Canes.
not doing too good is the Miami Hurricanes. The Miami
It's not that they're
Hurricanes.
not doing good. They lost 1 game.
Yes,
This is a bad loss. It was a bad loss. It's not
Yes.
that they're not doing good. That's wrong.
Yes.
They're not. Not that they're not doing good. They're allowed to have 1 loss.
Yes.
Other than losing against maybe not.
Okay. However,
Yeah.
here's where the problem is. They've been playing with fire now for a while,
That is true.
and they finally got burned. And
Yeah,
look,
I agree.
they did. They
I
did.
agree, I agree with that.
They were losing to
Cal.
35 to
Duke is an
10
issue.
and had to come back. They were losing before that to Virginia Tech, and they had to come back in that game.
Duke was a nail biter
They
for a
were
little
losing
bit.
to Duke, and
FSU gave a little caca.
they pulled away from Duke at the end, but they were losing to them in the
You're
first
right.
half.
Okay, I can see where you're going with that. All right.
Unfortunately,
I can see where you're
they
going with that.
have, they've been playing with fire, and they finally got burned. And the bad part about it is, if you're playing with fire and you keep escaping, then at least you had the resiliency to you. But they were getting close, and finally caught them and bit them. And if you're doing that against these teams, Georgia Tech is not a good football team. All they could do was run the ball. They ran the hell out of the ball last Saturday, but that's all they could do. They're a one-dimensional team, and the Canes could not stop them. And if you're doing that and having this mishaps against the likes of Georgia Tech and Virginia Tech and Duke and and Cal, what are you going to do when you start playing against these big boys?
So were we exposed? Are you telling what you're saying?
What I'm trying to say is that what are you going to do when you play against the big boys like Alabama and Georgia
Big names.
and Texas? The big boys from the Big 12, the SEC. What are you going to do? Because
Find
this
out.
is not, you're not setting yourself up. The good thing is they got to buy this week so they can hopefully clean it up, get it together
And then
here.
Wake Forest, I think it is.
Correct. They got Wake Forest next at home. So hopefully they bounce back at home in a good way. And then they close out the year at Syracuse in the Carrier
It's gonna
Dome.
be very easy.
And then if they win these last 2 games, they're likely looking at the ACC championship game in Charlotte, North Carolina. So they're going to have to win 2 out of these games in order to stay. They dropped from number 4 to number 9. And obviously this year with the 12-team playoff, you got to be amongst the top 12. But if you lose, 1 more of these games to none of these teams are going to be ranked, you're going to put yourself in a spot where maybe the committee says, they didn't really deserve it. They got by the skin of their.
I can name a million teams where, the whole thing with FSU got robbed that one, whatever.
Yeah,
So
no
you are
doubt.
right.
So they gotta definitely get it together. I'll say this too, Cam Ward. A lot of people were saying that he's the number 1 pick. Dolphins should look at him and all that. I don't see it. I'll tell you.
About the season, I mean, it's true.
Bless you. Okay, I don't see it. I see it.
Excuse
Bless
me.
you, guy. I see a guy who makes look. He reminds me a lot like of a Brett Favre, right? But Brett Favre threw a lot more touchdowns than interceptions. But he's a guy that is not scared to make the throw, and that's good. But sometimes it's not good. He didn't throw a pick in this game against Georgia Tech, but he had a horrible fumble where he was just buying too much time. I mean, you got to know your pocket presence. Is that something that he struggles with? Where he should maybe put his head down, flinch, and then go. He doesn't do it. He works his way to the sideline, and then on 3 different occasions this year, he's throwing the ball across his body, across field, and it's resulted in pick sixes. So, again, give him credit for being a gunslinger and for not being afraid to make the play. But college football is a sport where it's not a 17-game schedule. Every loss matters, and if you lose too many, you're not going to be included in the final 12. So, he lost, in my opinion, he lost his candidacy to be amongst the Heisman Trophy winners, and he's going to have 2 great games here to finish the year and a big game in the ACC championship game to have any chance of being mentioned in that in the final, Heisman candidate. You're right.
I don't know. I just started as soon as you started talking about Cam. My allergies started flaring up.
All right.
I need to talk about something I'm passionate about.
Yeah,
Baseball.
Let's do
All
it.
right. So before we get into a little bit of Marlins talk, we found out just yesterday that our friends up the road.
This is crazy. Go ahead.
You don't
Go
know,
ahead.
You don't know what I was going to talk
I know what
about.
you're saying. Friends up the road. I know exactly what
That
you're
could be
going
all
with
the way up 95. That could be the Red Sox. You don't know what I'm about to talk about. No, you
that. The
don't.
who Sox?
The Red Sox.
The
Up
Red
the
Sox don't
road.
play here.
Up the road, 95.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm trying to mess around with you. All right. We found out just yesterday that obviously you guys probably remember that one hurricane that hit a few weeks
Hurricane
ago.
Milton.
Hurricane Milton came and pretty much had an almost direct path over Tampa area, where the roof of Tropicana which was supposed to be a shelter, was pretty much sucked out and torn off. And that's the home of the Tampa Bay Rays. So they made a decision really quickly that they realized, hey, we're not able to fix this roof on time for the baseball season, 2025 baseball stadium. So there's been a lot of speculation since then of where the Rays might play. Even
Miami was mentioned as one. It was mentioned that they were going to have to kind of redo the schedule, and they could play some games here.
Yeah.
Or sorry, Miami Marlins and the Rays would coexist.
I never even thought that was going to be a possibility.
That would have been a little bit tougher.
That would have been ridiculous. No. So then I was thinking, okay, maybe Dunedin, which Dunedin is about 25 minutes north of Tampa, where spring training happens.
Beautiful town.
Beautiful.
That's the home of the Blue Jays spring training.
A town that you and I absolutely adore. So I thought, okay, that would be maybe an option. And then we thought maybe Orlando. Orlando's 45 minutes to the east, a quick drive on I-4. There's different stadiums there. There's
it would have.
But those are speculations. All speculations.
It would have had to rework the Citrus Bowl, which is not really a baseball venue. Yeah. The final two, though, just to sum up your point, the final two came down to Clearwater, the Philly spring training facility, and George Steinbrenner Field in Tampa,
next to Raymond James,
which is the Yankees spring training facility, and they picked
Steinbrenner Field, which it's gorgeous, right? It is a gorgeous facility. For those who know the area, it's literally right across the street from Raymond James, where the Bucks play. So there's really no issues with it. Obviously, it's a spring training facility, so you're not going to have the 40,000 seats. But do the Rays really fill that up anyway? So no, it's not really skin off the back. We plan on making a trip up there for sure. We like to do at least one Marlins away game, so we will most likely see.
We don't do one Marlins away game. We like to do baseball venues. Marlins away game, not so much. But this year, we're going to look at now that we know that it's going to be in Tampa. We're going to try to hit that game up. They're scheduled to play there in June, the first week of June on the weekend. So. We'll put it out there as we get closer, because anybody who listens to this podcast, obviously you like SoFLo Sports, so we may see if some people want to come out to that game. It's going to be fun. But I'll say this about that decision: it really shocked me, and here's why. Tampa Bay and the Yankees are in the same division; they're rivals, and not only that, the Yankees are the favorite of a lot of people all across the country. Much less Florida, because before the Rays and the Marlins came into existence, all of Florida was pretty much Yankee fans. So they have a big presence in Tampa as is. Buddies of mine have been going to Yankees Rays series at Tropicana for years, and it's predominantly a Yankee crowd, 70-30. I mean, it's a big Yankee following out there. So for them to be playing in the rival stadium, that's tough. That's tough to do. They've already said that we're going to ray it up, was the term they use. They're going to pretty much cover all the Yankee stuff, which, by the way, is a lot of stuff, because the Yankees, it's a replica of Yankee Stadium. You've been to the old Yankee Stadium. I've never been, but you have the monuments. Monument Park is replicated out there. You have statues. You have the retired numbers. Yeah. And so the Rays have said that they're going to cover all that up in order to make it feel like Tampa Bay Ray home field advantage. But I just don't see it. And the Yankees are, of course, going to be the visitors there for at least two series, maybe a playoff one as well. And how's that going to go? The Yankee fans are going to outnumber the Rays fans for those games in a very small 11,000 seat stadium. But that usually
happens in Tropicana anyway, especially when the Red Sox come to town or the Braves. Like that. That's
but this is actually their home, so you could cover up. I could cover you up, whatever. Okay. But it's still you. I know it's still you. So it's a little strange how they're going to do that. But hey, what are you going to do?
Definitely. All right, guys. Well, it's almost fight time. So
one more. We got another update.
Oh, yeah. I didn't get the job for the Marlins manager, unfortunately.
You did apply. You did apply. So.
I really felt that I had something going on with Sandy. I mean, not Sandy, sorry. The Marlins organization. And I felt
Sherman, Peter Bendix.
I feel like I could really have turned it around and really had a productive season, especially with their bullpen, and really gave them the fire that they need. But I did not get the job. And so Clayton McCullough got the job over me, unfortunately. But I guess he was the best person for it. So I've accepted being second best. So if it doesn't work out for Clayton, I know that I'm second best person up. Just kidding. No, I did not apply for that job, although that would have been an amazing job.
That would have been cool.
So
I would have selected you. So you know your stuff.
Yeah. So
but no, yeah, Clayton, 44 years old, right? He comes from the Dodger organization.
So he knows baseball.
He knows baseball. They just obviously won the World Series, and they won it again in 2020 before that. So he's got a couple World Series championships under his belt. He's a guy that's been the first base coach for the last 3 years. And Shohei Ohtani, the greatest player in the world, has vouched for him, saying that he called him his favorite coach.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. And he actually credited him for having him become this next level base stealer, because Shohei was always a 30, 35 steal a game guy, or sorry, a year guy. But now he, as we famously know, went 50-50 this year and stole well over 50 bases. And he credited a lot of that by being his first year as a Dodger, being in the Clayton McCullough system and allowing him to do what he does and showing him different techniques. So that's exciting when the best player in the world could give your new manager that kind of accolade and high remarks.
He got a good resume. It should be a good fit.
No doubt.
Just gonna have you saying they'll be sorry for not hiring me. So
they will.
I agree too.
You'll make them eat their words.
I will. So when they go on a 2-game losing streak, I'll be like, that's why, pick the wrong person. But no, obviously super excited for baseball season, although it is super far. It's even crazy to start talking about it. But any updates, obviously in the off season is fun, especially when it comes to with our Marlins. So guys, it has been fun. Thank you for hanging. Oh, I know that you want to have some closing words.
Did you want to say anything about Houston coming up? I know we got our Houston.
Yeah, no, we go to Houston in like a month or close to a month from today. That trip is completely sold out for the trip. No, it's gonna be a great trip, and we have to win that game. NRG Stadium's a tough place to win, from what we've heard. It's a big, tall stadium, but we obviously have the event on Saturday at the Drift Bar. It's a social, fan social. So we still have plenty of tickets for that. We had one in Indianapolis. It was a lot of fun.
Great time.
So we'll be talking more about that within the next few days or so, giving you more info on that trip. And as always, be sure to like and subscribe to the show. We enjoy hanging out with you guys on nights. Someone asked us the other day. They're like, Ash, Lou, what day are your shows? And we can't, with us, we can't say like, hey, it's going to be every Tuesday, because if there's a Heat game on Tuesday and we're going to go.
Right.
So we appreciate you guys, jumping around with us, going around our schedule and our favorite team schedule. And
we wish we'd be more consistent. It's just tough, between, I work late, and then also, we're season ticket holders to a lot of the teams in town. And if they're playing, we're not going to miss those games. We love going to them. Credit, as you mentioned, the Heat, they do a lot of great events between casino night. I know a lot of people rank the Dolphins for not doing as much, but you got to keep in mind that it is 41 games. The season is a lot longer, months-wise, games-wise. So,
Yes, but no, because other teams do it so dang well.
Yeah, you're right. The Raiders, I saw the Raiders, Big E put something out there at the beginning of the year. Yeah. They gave this some kind of a box that talked and said, welcome to another season of Raider football in the old NFL.
Chiefs do it good, but whatever, here nor there. So I know you had some closing remarks before we see Mike Tyson knock this kid back to the 2000s.
Get to the fight, and hopefully everybody has a good weekend ahead, highlighted by a Dolphin win. I do want to take time, and I do want to say something. I want to dedicate this show to my grandmother. I lost my grandmother this past week. She wasn't suffering, thankfully. She went peacefully. 93 years old, so she lived a heck of a life, and very grateful for everything that she meant to myself and my family. It's important for me to share the story, because she did come from Cuba against her will. Cuba, a communist country, and she came over here and became a teacher. That wasn't her trade back in Cuba. She was living a very nice life there before she was forced out to give her daughters a better life, and so she certainly did that. She came out here, went to school, got her degree, became a teacher. Taught Spanish for 5 years. Obviously, that was her first language, but learned English, and then ended up teaching an array of subjects at 4 different schools altogether. Her last school was Citrus Grove Elementary, where she taught 25 years, 40 years overall as a teacher. And again, a great example to not only her daughters, her 4 grandchildren, which I am one, and her 7 great-grandchildren. So rest in peace, my abuela, Ildita, as I used to call her. I'm going to miss her, love her a great deal. And, just want to, like I said, dedicate this show to her because she did so much for us. So.
No, she was great. She adored you.
She
You were
did.
the oldest.
I was.
And my grandma, who's
first
on the show, will tell, she will not admit to it, but the oldest is always the favorite because we're the ones that made them grandmothers.
I don't want to make my my brothers and sisters
and
my cousin upset, but I was her favorite. I got to admit it. I know it. She told me.
I am too, but none won't admit it. The first one's always their favorite because it's like they have their kids, which are our parents, and then they grow up and they're like, oh, I just want grandkids. And then people like us come out, and then we're just, come out and they're just a bundle of joy. And I know your grandma was such a big part of your life growing up, and your sisters and your brother and your sister have shared so many stories with me, even just the last week.
Yeah.
And as my grandma especially has been such a big influential part, especially the later part of my life now. So no, grandmas are the best. Yeah, no,
and she was a big Dolphin fan too, for the record. We, back when I was younger, Dolphins had a lot of games that were blacked out. And my grandfather had the satellite, and so he had the satellite up, and he was able to get the feed for the games that were blacked out. I'm ashamed to admit it, but the Dolphins had some blackouts back in the day. That's not the case anymore. All the games are shown on either CBS or Fox. But back then, if they didn't sell out, the games were blacked out locally. And so we spent a lot of Sundays at her house. My grandfather, my grandmother, and my brother and my dad went out there. Even the mayor, Francis Suarez, and his dad, Xavier Suarez, came out to watch Dolphins at my grandfather and grandmother's house. So she was a big Fins fan. And, I wish they would have gotten one more for her in her lifetime.
But she saw a Super Bowl, and that's something we can't say. We don't know if we are going to see that. Exactly. We hope so, but she did see a Dolphins Super Bowl, and that's an amazing thing because it's can't say that.
Absolutely.
Don't know if we'll say that.
Yeah.
So, all right. Ready to see some
let's
fight night,
watch the fight.
There's a lot of good TV on for you guys who are not out tonight on date nights or having fun. Obviously, the Heat are taking on the Pacers now. You have Dateline 2020, which is always solid, and you have the big fight tonight. So a lot of good things to just chill, watch, and get ready for Sunday's matchup against the Raiders.
Absolutely. All right. Well, listen, wishing you guys a great weekend ahead. I know we didn't do a show last week, but want to give a special salute to all veterans out there who served our country. Veterans Day, of course, this past Monday. So to all you vets, thank you. Salute to you. Hats off to you guys for everything you do to secure our freedom and to fight for us. And so we're very grateful. And enjoy this weekend ahead. Before you know it, the holidays will be here. Thanksgiving first, and then the winter, Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate holidays coming up in December.
Your birthday, our anniversary.
Yeah, a lot of stuff going on. So, but wishing you guys a great weekend. Again, highlighted by a Miami Dolphins win.
Let's get it, guys. Have a great night, and go Mike Tyson.
Yes. Good night, guys.